In the past I showed you guys how I used my Elegoo Centauri Carbon bent into the outside. Now I went ahead and set up a BentoBox to filter the air within the printer to ensure that I capture any VOCs and ultrafine particles within the printer when I print on ABS or ASA or other technical materials. Here's how it works. Basically, here you have the fans within this red component that you can see here in the screen that enables the air to flow in this direction, which causes it to pass first through a HEPA filter and then through a second carbon filter. You can buy this from Vauxhall at their website, which is what I did. And it gives you all the components. You can see here it comes with all the 3D printed parts, the HEPA filter, the carbon filter, the fans, etc., even the power supply. And you can see it is not compatible with the Elegoo Centauri Carbon, but this is only because of the base, which I'm going to go ahead and modify in this video and show you how I did it. If you want to DIY it instead of buying the kit, you can download all the 3D printed parts and follow the guide where they show you the bill of materials, and you can do the whole thing from scratch yourself. So either one is an option. So here's how my BentoBox kit came when I received it. It's the power supply, the two fans, the link to instructions on how to set it up, and then here are the main box components. We have the HEPA filter box. You can remove the top and easily accept the filter itself, which you can replace easily. And you put them back and snaps with magnets. Then we have carbon filter box, the enclosure for the fans, and the main base. For the carbon filter, take out this container, has a top lid that slides out. And there you can see the main carbon pellets. You're supposed to use acid-free carbon pellets. Close it back and slide it back into the main enclosure. As you can see, it also has magnets that attach to the fan enclosure. And same thing for the HEPA filter box. These you're supposed to screw, which attaches the fans and then attaches this fan enclosure to that bottom base. You're supposed to have the sticker in that orientation to ensure that the air flows from top to bottom. And then you can route them for either side. I'm going to route them on the left side based on where I plan to put it on my Elegoo Centauri Carbon. It just has 2 screws per fan, and that's it. And then magnets. Sets it all up. Now I have to peel a little bit the cables to separate the positive and the negative so that we can take the 2 positives from each fan and attach them to the connector that goes to the power supply. Ensure they're properly secured, and then do the same with the negatives of both fans. Connect them to the negative of the power supply connector. After that, you can just go ahead and plug it to the power supply and you're good to go. So now I'll go ahead and test the fans to make sure that I hooked it up the right way and confirm it's flowing air the right direction. Now we're not quite ready to go install because, as I said, you had this kind of like lip sticking out, and if I were to put enclosure, it wouldn't sit up all right up against it. And also we don't have holes that line up with the base that we received from the kit. So I'm going to go ahead and redesign this part and make my own to fit properly and use magnets to attach it to the Elegoo Centauri Carbon case. So I removed some of these pieces where we're going to put the holes, add some holes to fit some magnets, and remove that corner piece so it can sit right up against that wall of the case. Like I said, add up holes for magnets. So I'm going to have 2 on the vertical and 3 on the bottom. I didn't have to add glue. I kind of press fit those into place, and that was ready to go. And then I had to again use the threaded inserts with heat, and as you can see, we can go from this, which didn't quite fit. Now we can go into this, which fits perfectly. No obstructions there. And then I use the magnets to secure it, which are strong enough. I'll leave a link in the description, but they're strong enough even to hold the weight of the case, so that shouldn't go anywhere during normal prints. I then went ahead and set the fan enclosure to my new bottom case, and then I can just go ahead and set the rest of the BentoBox with the magnets as originally designed. And you can see you have a little bit of a gap there. I see 15 millimeters between the print bed and the BentoBox, so it should be good. I do have to remove these cables so that I can then route them through the case. You could do them through 2 spots. I have identified this one over here on the side of the printer, And then the other one I see is right here. And I think I'm gonna go with this one. So after it's all said and done, it should look like this, assuming you went with a bottom hole like I did, right? Wires exit through the left of the filter, and then I put them over here, tucked away. Shouldn't be messing with anything during the print. And to turn it on and off, I use this wireless remote control socket that I already had. It doesn't use Wi-Fi, it's just a simple button. You can turn it on directly with the terminal or through this remote. So it's pretty convenient, and I think it works pretty well. So overall, I like the setup, and I think we're ready to test it with a print. So you can see here we have the fans from the case and the printer running. And when I turn it on, it adds a little bit of extra noise, but it's nothing compared to the rest of the noise that the printer makes. So I think it's overall fine. And here I have the printer printing while my BentoBox is filtering the air. As you can see, it doesn't cause any issues and it's not really in the way. And then here I'm done after I finish my print, and you can see you can keep the BentoBox still on, and you can turn it off whenever you want. I would leave it on for at least 30 minutes to an hour or so after the print so that it keeps filtering the air, and then you can come in and grab your part. Now in my opinion, the BentoBox worked really well in small to medium parts, but once you start printing anything relatively big, I don't think it does enough of a good job to capture all the fumes that come out of ABS or ASA parts. Here I'm printing a part that was roughly 400 to 500 grams, and I definitely was able to smell a ton of it, which made me question the effectiveness of the filter. So I went ahead and put together an enclosure that I bought on Amazon. It was like around $40 or so. It's not necessarily made for this print, but I thought it worked pretty well. And you can see here it's relatively big, but it gives maybe some space for future upgrades. On the side, I went ahead and printed a attachment that I can then attach a 3-inch hose for ducting that will then go to a fan. So here you can see the printer. It definitely fits fairly well. It has plenty of space at the top. And you can see on the side there's space for the spool for filament. You can still take it out, it has space. Maybe it's a little bit hard to reach the poop chute at the back. And here's an AC Infinity fan that I'm going to use. This is 6-inch, it's pretty big. You probably can get away with a 4-inch. And here's the vent window attachment that I'm going to use that I showed before. So here is all hooked up. You can see coming out of the side, and then I have it behind my table. I have the fan. Again, you can probably use a smaller fan. It's just one I had before for a laser engraver that I already had. Alright, that concludes the video. I hope you liked it. If you did, give us a thumbs up and subscribe. See you in the next one.